All right, so I will shut up now, and we will go with the star of the night. Hamy already introduced you, so let's get right to it. Right, um, very informally, because we want people to see your human side, and I hope you're completely at ease. Right, we have a very good crowd. Tell us a little bit, like from the beginning, right? Maybe from university, what you studied at university and why, and that those early steps into your transition into tech sales. And then of course you have that very unique background as an athlete, as a professional athlete. So also please talk to us a little bit about that, right? When did you start doing that? What did you do? And how that led to working in sales later on?
Mm-hmm. So yes, I studied a German-French management program. So I have been one part in Paris and the other part in Berlin. It was quite interesting study program. And it was a typical management program, right? So we did marketing, we did finance, we did supply chain, entrepreneurship. So it was all interesting. And of course, I was the typical marketing girl. So that was my specialization as well in the master. And then I graduated 3 years ago. And I did some internships at Beiersdorf and L'Oreal. You might have heard about these companies, big corporate companies in the cosmetic industries. And that was my goal, actually. So after graduating, really like to pursue this career, to get into it, being a product manager, a brand manager, something like this. But then, yeah, I met Dom at the university, and actually he was at this point at POSpulse as a CEO and presenting, actually performing for these kind of brands, right? So providing a technical solution for them. And that was really interesting. And I thought, okay, so then I get a better insight into the whole industry, not only in one specific brand, but into the whole industry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I started just like to get into the company, and I recognized it was actually a smooth transition. So it wasn't that Dom said, yeah, come on, let's jump into sales. He was, I think, or he saw in my personality something that it fits to sales, but he didn't mention it. So he was just like, come on, let's give it a try. Do you want to join some like calls, for example? Or do you want to see how meetings are structured? And then I don't know how it works, but then I started just like to have my first calls, and then my own projects. And it was kind of an ongoing process. And then I recognized somehow it's a fun process as well. It fits to me because I had a real big pleasure into just like meeting clients, talking to them, providing solutions to them. And then, of course, I got more responsibility. I was focused more on, of course, the beauty industry and OTC section. And then, I just like started my career into sales and then got senior sales manager. And I'm still here. So looking forward to it. And I don't know what's coming, but I can say that between all these years, it haven't been just like boring. There were always some new tasks to do, new things to learn as well, new clients, which I saw and worked with. And that was quite interesting. It still is. So it is really, challenging as well.
And you mentioned, Hamy, what was your perception before, right? Because you mentioned you kind of stumbled into it. It sounds a little bit like Dom convinced you into it too, huh? which is good to know. But what was that? What was your mindset before, right? Why had you never considered it? Like, what did you think about sales, and how did it change now that you have worked in sales?
I think, of course, I was into my marketing bubble, so I have never just like looked for other options. And of course, I didn't know well what sales is about, right? Of course, you have this in mind, okay, calling all the day and then just like try to sell something. And I was kind of just like shocked maybe, or just like, I haven't got the real knowledge about it, what I have to do. I thought that it would be like a little bit boring selling all the time some things or solutions or products. So that is why I haven't concerned it.
And how was it different, right? Like, how would you describe it now, right? Or why wasn't it like that? Like, what does your day-to-day look like, or what did it look like when you got here, and what does it look like now?
I recognized rapidly that I got a lot of ownership, and as I love to take responsibility of things. I recognize I have my own project. I need to talk to clients. They are my clients, my accounts, right? I'm responsible for them, just like to do the best, to provide them the best solution. And then, of course, I like the social part of it, really like to be with people, to talk on an eye level. It's not that, for example, they say like, okay, you only the provider, but they were really thankful and grateful for the help I have provided to them, even though it's not my product, right? I just like present the product and help or provide the product that they can use, right? So it was kind of like consulting them as well. And I really like this because, and then I get like some feedback, which is like that they are grateful for it. And then of course, yeah, having own projects from different industries, from different products. So it's a lot of variety in it there.
And okay, what does your day-to-day look like today?
It's basically talking to clients when they have a need. So imagine they come to us and ask for solutions and they do not know how to just like solve this problem. Then of course I know what our product is capable of doing, and then we just provide them the best solution to it. And then I talk to clients, I write concepts, proposals, evaluating with them numbers, and then just like provide them the data in the end, and then that they can just like use them to solve the problem.
Okay, and so you're more in an account executive, account manager role right now, right? And yeah, can you tell us, like, from your company? I actually think we have somebody here in that role. I think it's Judith, right? But what does a day-to-day of somebody in a junior role look like, more or less?
So as a junior, you already have your own accounts, which are smaller companies. So meaning like, for example, startups. And of course, they have some needs as well, right? And then, of course, you are the owner of it. So you talk to them as well. They have needs as well. They need, or they look for solution as well. And then you talk to them. So that means like you call them, you have meetings with them. I know 2 years ago, when I was a junior as well, I started to be, when there wasn't a Corona, I was at their company sites as well. So it was like I came in as a young girl. I still remember, for example, and there were clients just like 30, 40 years experience. And I needed to present, of course, the solution, the company, myself as well, right? And then, of course, in the end, I hope, of course, that they use our solution then, and then, of course, to close deals.
For sure. What is it you like the most?
Yeah, closing, of course. I was hoping that you will ask me, just like when you presented the sales activities, what is the most or funny part of it? And I would say closing, but of course you only can close if you do the other things. So yeah. But as
it's the most rewarding one, right?
It's the most rewarding one, of course. And it shows, and maybe it has something to do with my sports mentality, but of course, winning, closing, achieving something, that's the best feedback you can get.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. So talk to us about your athlete background a little bit. I think people are interested to hear.
So I started as a young kid, actually. I don't remember anymore, but my mom said, you're like a kind and small girl. You need to defend yourself somehow. And then let's do some martial arts, right? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not sure. And then she puts me into taekwondo classes. And it was kind of easy to do it because it's a martial arts from South Korea. And it's all about kicking. That's maybe the difference between the other ones. So that means that you use your foot, for example, to kick someone into the head. So
Mm-hmm.
just like to say that. And it was kind of easy for me. So I had a lot of fun. And yeah,
Uh-huh.
I took some children lessons and classes. And then, of course, when I got older, I recognized, okay, I could do it on a professional level or more professional oriented level. And I got
Mm-hmm.
scouted, and then I took part into competitions. And since then, everything changed a little bit, because then it wasn't about only just like training, but also just like competing and yeah, taking part in international competitions as well. So there was more professional base behind it, meaning that the training sessions were more created on a professional base. So it wasn't just like going into classes and then kicking around. It was more on ground work, I would say, basic level, and then of course all the specific stuffs which you need to adjust.
Mm-hmm. And you, when we were talking like before the webinar, right, in private, you told me a quote that I actually loved. That was that when you're at the top, everyone is good, right? What differentiates people is hard work. And so, what has it taught you? That background as an athlete, and that you use in your day-to-day life or in sales.
Yeah, I recognize the higher you get, the more difficult it is then, because there are a lot of people which are better or which are talented. And I recognize, okay, then you need to work on yourself, right? Because that's the only thing you can influence. You can't wait that success comes to you. You need to work for it. And that's, I think, the work ethic I always had in mind, because I saw people when they were better, they weren't better because they had more talent. It was that because they had, or they worked more than I did. So, and that's why I had this mindset, and I transferred to in all kind of personal levels. So that means that in work. So when I'm at POSpulse, I have this in mind as well. So I'm influencing my situation by myself, right? So I'm not waiting for others. So I try my best and work hard for it, and then success will come sooner or later.
Definitely. So proactivity is one of them. Work ethic is another. Any others, like from your background, that you think you might have applied?
Yeah, patience as well. So you can't just like expect that today, when you learn something, you can apply everything by tomorrow and be the best. It takes time, of course, and lessons as well. It sounds so simple. I know when we talk in trainings about it, it sounds so simple. When our coach says, yeah, it takes time, and you think, no, you want to just like progress or improve by tomorrow. It doesn't work like this. So it takes time to create routines, to understand the process, and then everything will come by itself.
And it's the same. It's very translatable to sales, right? Trusting the process, creating routines. Yeah,
Definitely. So I mean, like when I started in sales, I wasn't expecting that I will be performing, I don't know, just like doing a lot of deals and closing them. I needed to understand before how the process is, and then I don't know, it was just like an ongoing process. It came then afterwards. So I saw it then. So then the first deals came in, I closed some, I was really happy, but it took time, right? Yeah.
Sure. How do you work, a specific one, and I'm also interested personally, how do you work on your motivation? Or do you do something for your motivation?
Yeah, of course, I talk to others. That's really important, just like not to be stuck by your own thoughts, right? Really to share ideas, to share the knowledge with each other. I listen to podcasts as well. So when I want to get back into the sports mentality, I listen to sports podcasts from others. So when they share their experience, right, then I can get be inspired by it. And of course, creating routines, writing diaries. I don't know, in sports, we're writing really diaries, because when you are in this kind of level, you work on yourself, then you only see just like your weaknesses, but you need to write down as well how successful you have been in the day, even it's a small point, really just like to be grateful and thankful as well for the work on it. You need to appreciate it as well.
Appreciation, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're asking, can you share some of those podcasts if you have them?
Oh, it's Team Deutschland, Sport Deutschland. It's everything which is related to the German national team, of course, because I'm interested what the others are doing. And actually, I recognize that they're facing the same. And even though if you're not a pro athlete, for example, I recognize on a upper or a lower level as well, they all facing the same challenges. It's all about mindset. It's all about, of course, physical strength, physical need, but as well mental health. Yeah.
Absolutely. So with this in mind, with these skills that you're telling me, who do you think should get into tech sales, Hamy? Any specific, collectives or any specific people with mindset or?
Yeah, I think the willingness to learn, of course, it's important. And as well, just like loving to talk to people, right? And to listen. So I mean, like to listen really, just like to know how to speak to persons, so I think empathy, right? To understand each other. And then I think the willingness to learn and positivity, really, like if you want to reach something. I mean, like I still remember when Dom told me, yeah, just like keep your style. I mean, like you're just someone who's smiling and laughing, and it's fine because it will be transferring to the clients as well, right? And I think just like positive, then the clients appreciate you as well.
Absolutely, that's great. Do you have any recommendations for people that want to get into tech sales?
I don't know, just like do what you like, right? So if tech sales is something for you, even if you didn't know, then really do it, even though you think just like you're not capable of, for example, or you do not have the background, just like try. I saw so many people, they started with a really complete different background and then came into tech sales, and they're completely right now in this position. So just like if you want to do it, just like try it out. And yeah, that's my recommendation.
Has it improved your life, Hamy? Like, would you do it again? Get into sales?
I'm still in sales, so I think that's the best answer. I don't know. Yes, I think so. I mean, like I like the product at POSpulse, so maybe what I can say is when you want to work in sales, do something in an industry which is interesting for you, right? So because POSpulse is working with like FMCG brand manufacturers, so everything which is related to just like fast moving consumer goods, right? So it was interesting to see how, for example, Coke is working or how L'Oreal is working and so forth. So that was an industry which was always interesting for me. So that's why I decided, of course, to work in a company providing for those kind of clients or this kind of industry solution.
Completely agree. I think if you have to work on something you're at least remotely passionate about, right, or interested in. Otherwise, you might be very motivated at the start, but in the long run, it will taper off for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so no more questions from my side. I think Dom is around. He doesn't have the video. I don't know if he has any specific questions, but now we will open up to questions from anybody that wants to ask anything. So you can ask it directly on the chat, or you can put it on the Q&A, or anything that you want. Dom, you around?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, good. Perfect. All right, any questions, anybody? Don't be shy. I'll ask one. Any books, Hamy, that you recommend that you like? They don't necessarily have to be sales books, huh?
Oh man, I have to admit, it's been a long time that I haven't read a book. And always when I'm just like in discussions with people and they always say like, oh, I have read this book, it was so inspiring, and I'm feeling really like, it's been a while for me. So sorry, no book.
No problem. Cool. All right. So then I think, we have one from Wolfgang. Wonderful. What sales tools do you recommend for entry-level sales or SDRs?
So as I'm like a social person, I really like social selling. So really like connecting with people, really using LinkedIn, Sing. And I still remember when I was a junior sales, I closed one of my first deals with a really unknown person from Sing. So I just saw like, okay, I am in charge for OTC. That means like pharma industry. And I just like looked up for some pharmacy industries. And then I saw, okay, he's kind of a CEO. I try it out. So I wrote him just like being, hey, do you want to chat to talk about a little bit about POSpulse? And he was like, oh yeah, that sounds really interesting. And that was one of my first deals, of course, as well. And I was so happy because it was really like cold account. So I think this tools will help you as well, just like to connect with people, of course, and then to see what they share. And then, of course, you can always take this as just like the first step into a discussion, right? Oh, I saw you have uploaded this or you posted this. I saw your competitors or in your category, this is happening. Some trends are coming in. I think that's a quite good sales tool. Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things we teach our students is don't expect to reach out to somebody through one single channel and then get a reply, right? You need to like a multi-touch point, multi-channel campaign. So make sure to check their LinkedIn, check their social profiles, try to give them a call, send them the email, etc. And then social, of course, nowadays is huge. You can get so many deals just by reaching out cold to people on LinkedIn.
But for example, calling as well. I mean, like, of course, you're kind of a little bit scared to call a person, but that's, I know Dom was always saying just like, you need to try it. I mean, like, it's maybe not the funniest part in the beginning, but you need to try it and just like take your phone and then you will see you get just like faster to the results. And I have to admit, yeah, that's the case actually. So I had some deals in the past as well. Now, even as a senior sales, I call the person and then he says, wow, Hamy, thanks for calling. I know what POSpulse is doing, but you're calling at the right time and I have something for you.
Yeah, it still remains the best way to connect with prospects, right? Dom, were you going to say that? I think we're thinking the same thing.
Totally. Yeah, totally. I was just talking to one of our students. So we do weekly coaching sessions. And one of them said, hey, but my previous employer, she actually had sales experience. They said, cold calling is outdated. It's old school. And well, many seem to think that because it's either not done right or because it's just the least comfortable one. You have to leave your comfort zone. That's what our students struggle most with. Call people uninvited and I need to ask them something and sell them something. But hey, it's just the fastest way. And when you're an SDR, it's about time efficiency. And what you always have to picture, right, Hamy, what we always talked about, you're adding value, especially in the B2B environment. It's not about selling stuff nobody needs. It's about solving problems. And it's just about asking, hey, there's something that we think we can help with. Who is the right person to talk to? It's the fastest to find out. LinkedIn and email are passive ways to communicate. And it's more by chance. Okay. And it's the mix that really does it.
Yeah, I agree. And they're fun. I actually like them. I keep telling this people and they look at me like I'm crazy. But I've done a lot of cold calls during my life, a lot. And cold visits, like physical ones. And you get, when you manage to connect with somebody, qualify them, make even a sale, whatever, there's that immediate reward, right? And it turns into kind of like an art, knowing how to connect with people, how to chat to them at the beginning. So I actually like it.
So we have more questions coming in. So first one here is, how about a person who is a techie throughout the career? and now wants to move into tech sales, right? So I think that's, if I understand it right, previously been a techie role, now wants to switch into sales. How to do that, or would we say that is that an option at all? And I don't know, Alvaro, do you want to be the first one answering that one?
Yeah, I mean, we've said before, right, that anybody from any background is well suited, but if you're getting into the tech world and you're selling software, having a tech background is always going to be just a huge plus. So it's not about whether you're a techie or not a techie, right? You need to be a good salesperson and have the skills to be a good salesperson. Having a technical background can only benefit you. And many of the best people that I know that working in sales have a tech background. And in fact, the sales process that we just showed you was done, or that the first idea of, more science-based sales process was done by an engineer. So it's when tech people getting into a sales process that great things happen. So absolutely.
I think more importantly than what you've done before is what your natural given skill set or talent set is. Are you a person that easily connects with others, that others find you trustworthy, you just click with them, you're sincerely interested in other human beings, then it's for you, right? And it doesn't mean that you're the kind of person that goes to a networking event and loves networking. I don't like networking. I don't like going and talking to random people, just chit-chatting. They're great introverts in sales as well, because they're usually good at listening, right? So I would say, are you interested in human beings? Do others find you trustworthy? If you can say yes to that, then I think you should at least consider sales.
Hamy?
Next question coming up from Lara. Thanks a lot. Did you meet people who tried tech sales and then found out it wasn't right for them? If yes, do you know the reasons? That's a good one, because usually people don't tell you, right? Or don't talk about things that didn't work for them. I don't know, Hamy, have you met anyone who said, tried it, wasn't for me?
No, I really have to think about, but no. I think there might be, I don't know, maybe there were some, but they didn't tell me the reasons, or you do not know the reasons, right?
Yeah. Alvaro, what about you?
I don't have any specific examples that I can think of. I'm sure, of course, it has happened like with any other career, right? I can think of many reasons. The main one being that you were in the wrong company.
Yeah.
Because you can get into environments where sales is done in a very old school way, and you have a very, you have to meet your quota, or you're out, or that still happens. So that's something that we also teach our students, right? Do your research. We only get hiring partners and companies that we know that have a very good culture, because the wrong culture still exists, not only in sales, in anything, right? So I do know people that have been at places that they shouldn't be, right? And they get scared of sales.
Yeah, I have heard about it as well. Only heard about it, but of course there are companies where it is more competitive, right? Between each other, really like to reach your quota. And if you do not reach your quota, then of course you will be out at some point. But depends on the company as well, right? Well, I have never experienced this way. And I have to admit as well, I have never been under pressure to reach my quota, because I thought that if I do my best, I'd really try my best, really. And if I do not reach the quota, then of course I can improve myself to see, okay, maybe for next time I can try other solutions or other methods. But working under pressure, it's more counterproductive, I think. And if I'm just like relaxed and of course a little bit like an achiever and just like focused on something, then of course I think success will come automatically. So that's why when I'm working at POSpulse, of course I have a quota and I have it in my mind. Always keep the eye on the price, of course. But I'm not feeling just like, okay, now the last 2 months are coming or 2 weeks are coming. I have to really just like find something out. If not, I will be so depressed and under stress. No, I do not have this feeling. Never.
I think the next question is related. How prevalent is this sort of culture environment in sales? You guys know better the German market. I can reply for the Spanish one. It's there. I have to say that's why it's very important to make sure what company you're getting into and what you're selling. So it's definitely there in more traditional sales sectors, right? In the tech industry, in the software B2B tech industry, usually not, because of the nature of the process and the deal, right? They're longer term. You need to talk to a lot of people. It's not like you're going to get the call and try to close a deal super fast. It's more a consultative sale. So within a consultative sales environment, that culture is mostly non-existent. If you get into a transactional sales product, where you are expected to pick up the phone and sell something fast in the moment, then you might run into that kind of culture, at least in Spain. So it's about being careful and knowing where you get yourself into.
Can only concur. Absolutely. I think you've said it all. And, we have students in the US, there it's different. The first question being, hey, how are you? How have you been? Is a good icebreaker. That's enough. It gets the other person engaged. Whereas maybe in Germany, that's not so much the case. You need to come across differently. Other than that, as Alvaro has said it, it's usually the kind of industry that determines sales style. So if you imagine Wolf of Wall Street, the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, they sold penny stocks through the phone. That was very much transactional, talking people into stuff they don't need. That's then very, very much different from what we're talking here.
Yeah. We had one more. This is an interesting one for you, Hamy. How do you manage your work-life balance, working full-time and training at the same time?
Yeah, I need to say it's tough, of course, but I'm used to it somehow, because when I studied, when I went to school, I always was training all the time. But of course, working is kind of different. It's more exhausting, I would say. But it's all about time management, right? And I have to admit, so that's why I was as well really grateful to POSpulse that they supported me in that way. So I'm more productive when I have a good work-life balance at work. So I'm more successful at work when I'm training a lot. So I don't know why. Maybe it's a good balance, or maybe because I'm happy to fulfill my dream, or just like to pursue my passion, right? And then this kind of happiness is transferred to work, maybe. But of course, there are some days which are tough. So when we are preparing for competitions as well, so I'm training in the morning, then going to work, or staying at home now and working, and then in the evening training again, and then you're just like coming home, and then sometimes still like answering emails, or still have some business cases in mind, of course. Yeah, it's tough, but it's all about time management. And as training is something which motivates me, but work is somehow fulfilling me as well. I'm not having just like this emotion of just like it's a duty to really to perform and to be under negative pressure. No, not at all. Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right. No more questions. I think we are right on time. It's 7, so very, very productive session, I would say. No more questions, right? Last opportunity. All right, so we'll wrap it up. Hamy, thank you so much for being with us. It was a real pleasure to meet you. I know Dom already knew you, and he approached me and said, we need to interview Hamy. She's a rock star. And yeah, I think the words were true. So thank you so much for your time. And it's really been a pleasure.
Thanks. It was a pleasure as well for me.
Thank you, Hamy.
Amazing. Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.